So CBS recently released a video called Extremists Next Door, and it's one of the most hilariously wrong and cringy things that I've ever seen. Almost everything in this video is completely inaccurate, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. If you look at the like to dislike ratio, 5.9 thousand people have disliked the video and only 380 people have liked it. Probably because it's complete and utter nonsense. It only has 30,000 views, but let me tell you friends, watching this is hilarious. We're gonna go through the video. I'm going to tear it apart in an analysis of what they got wrong, what they got right, and what they completely just lied about. But before we watch this video, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, press the bell button for notifications for new uploads, and check out the links in the description to my social media accounts and pages where you can support the content. Now let's begin.
The internet created a place where extremist views would proliferate.
Extremism.
And it didn't even take them 10 seconds to completely and utterly lose it. Now wait a second. What is that I see? Is that a little Tanya from the anime? Tanya the Evil? Based and red-pilled.
ビザはお持ちではない。では捕虜としてのご入国を希望されます。
皆殺しにしろ！撃て！
Oh, I can already tell this is gonna be good, folks.
Even innocuous video games and social media have become rabbit holes to radicalization.
So they immediately start with the narrative that video games are to blame. These websites like 4chan are rabbit holes to becoming an extremist. That's the whole hypothesis of their entire video. And not only do I think they're wrong, I think this entire video is just, it's like they don't understand the internet at all. They don't understand memes, and they have no idea what they're talking about. And I think as we go through this, you're gonna see exactly what I mean.
Once offering the promise of a more connected world, the internet is now a place where young people are desensitized and violence is cultivated.
And then they go to hacker 4chan. They slander the website 4chan and claim that it's a gateway to extremism and violence. Not only is this slander, and I'm sure anyone who's used 4chan is insulted by this, it's completely and utterly wrong. 4chan it's a nice website. There's different boards with different subjects. Business, cooking, origami. You wanna learn knitting? They got a board for that. You wanna learn nature, survival? They got a board for that. You just wanna shitpost some memes? They got a board for that. 4chan is just a website, not a big deal.
So we're heading out to meet a guy we've been chatting to online in one of these online forums that attracts gamers and attracts people.
Okay, hold up a second there. Did he just say that he's going to meet up with a guy they were chatting to online? Bro, that's like Internet 101. How do you know it's safe? I mean, you're going to some random man's house, some random person's house. It could be a serial killer. It could be someone bad. You know, you go for a cup of tea and next thing you know, you wake up with a sore butt and a pickle.
You know what would be a huge turn on for me?
What?
He wants to watch her perform a sex act on a cat. He says people do it all the time.
Online forums that attracts gamers and attracts people in various hate groups.
Did he just call gamers a hate group? You know, I guess it's true what they say. Gamers are the most oppressed minority.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
Because a lot of the people that we talk to on these forums despise the media.
Oh, gee. I wonder why. Why could it possibly be that people hate the media? Could it be because you're always twisting the narrative, lying to your viewers, and creating cringy, inaccurate, completely slanderous videos like this? It's no wonder you got all these dislikes. Maybe it's because you're full of it.
He's waiting for us in his garage. Waiting for us in his garage.
Mom, can you pick me up? I'm scared.
Yo, is this not like a red flag to anybody? Like, yeah, dude, just come in onto my house. The garage will be open. You got a nice mouth. Why don't you come closer here? I'll call you Sally. Yeah, not a red flag at all.
He began using the internet at 7 years old and now spends up to 15 hours online every day.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
You know, I have to say, this is not at all what I expected when you told me about your room. I was expecting like this dark, boarded up room.
Where do these people think we live? People who use the internet, just about every young person these days, do they think we all live like in caves? Like, do they hear the word troll and they think, yes, they live in a small cave underneath the basement, full of dirt and cockroaches. It's such a meme in their heads.
Negan identifies as a wizard based on an online community of male virgins whose slogan is, disregard females, acquire magic.
You know, I gotta be honest, that's not bad advice. Acquire currency, though, that would be my advice. Magic's not real, I wish it was. And if it was, well, you bet your ass I'd become a wizard.
You got the wizards, you got the incels. Incel is involuntary celibate. I'm a wizard in the sense that I'm a voluntary celibate.
Have you ever had sex?
Did you just ask him if he ever had sex?
No.
He just said he was a voluntary celibate. He just said he was a wizard. The whole joke and the whole meme with wizards is that if you have sex, you can't become a wizard because you lose your magic powers. And that if you're a virgin for like 30 years, you'll gain magic powers. You'll become a wizard when you turn 30. These people have no idea about the internet.
When I was young, it was not on my mind to get a girlfriend, to get a car, to get a job. My mind was video games. My mind was internet.
You know how this video is completely pro-normie? It's basically making the implications that if you don't have a girlfriend, if instead you play video games and you go online, you're just an abnormal. You're just a threat to society. Why is normie the bar for good? You know, there's nothing good about what's normal necessarily. Anything could be normal for society. I mean, we might live in a society where people chop each other's heads off and it's considered normal. That doesn't mean it's good.
Even boards about innocuous topics like video games have threads filled with graphic images and bigotry.
Oh no, this girl depicts females different from men. They're bigots. So not only are they calling gamers extremists, now they're calling gamers bigots. Like, where does a rabbit hole end? I feel like I'm in crazy town.
It's not every day that I talk to somebody who just throws out this lingo as if it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's called freedom of expression. Welcome. You know, if we actually lived in a world where people told you what they actually thought, well, maybe the world would actually be a better place. You could actually know who people really are, and the world wouldn't be so fake. Can you imagine if people were just honest?
It's like saying, hey, stupid. Instead, you say, hey, Nick, or hey, or hey,
Every time you say these things, it just sends chills up my spine.
Imagine being offended and scared by words. Okay, so this is what we mean when we say, you're a snowflake, you're sensitive, you're so privileged and so insulated from the real world that it sends chills down my spine. It sends chills. What a little soy boy.
Is it strange to you that I'm as fazed as I am by your use of these words?
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. This man is an adult, but he has the mentality of a 7-year-old.
All I'm saying is that you can't use this terminology without being racist.
And that's how they think. See, that's the narrative they're trying to push. They think that you cannot use a word to be edgy, to make a joke, or maybe just a curse, without being a bigot. Not only is this not true, just because someone says a bad word doesn't mean they're a bigot, but this is what they actually believe.
Do you hear yourself, though? 99% of the population that would just label you as a flat-out, blatant racist.
And there we have the appeal to the majority. Everything that's normal is good. Everything that's not normal is bad. Let me ask you a question. If there was a group of people who didn't believe in gravity and told you to jump off a cliff, would you? Absolutely not. You would break your leg, because gravity is real. Just because a bunch of people, or the majority, believe something is true, well, it doesn't mean they're right.
The way to get a movement rolling and moving along is to attract young people who have like the vigor, and the energy to get your message out there.
And that's exactly what the left does in America. They indoctrinate children using the educational system. That is why so many kids go to school, are fed progressive values and regressive left-wing ideology, both as children and in college, and they come out completely and utterly deranged. What's that? You sent your daughter to get a degree in women's studies at a university, and now she says she's a feminist and she can no longer talk to you because you're a dad, and the position known as dad is part of the patriarchy.
You know, it goes way back to when they first started playing video games online with people from around the world, because...
Do you see what I mean? No, I'm not going to show you all this video because it's a lot of slander and nonsense, but they keep going back to this theme of gamers are evil, gamers are bad.
They look for the most vulnerable among our boys, and then what they do is they tap into this very natural sort of anger that comes up within adolescence and the feeling of isolation that so many kids, even the healthiest, happiest kids, often experience. And they give them somebody to blame.
Now this actually pisses me off. Okay, so you kind of reached and tapped my anger, okay? Because the reason that so many young men these days are angry isn't because of groups like this. It's not because of the internet, and it's not because of the memes. It's because of society. These people have learned nothing.
What do you get?
I don't think so.
When you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash!
Take a look at this article, for example. Why men are falling behind in schools. And the picture they use is a woman shoving her heel, which, mind you, is very dangerous, into his face. Men are falling behind in schools, they're falling behind in their careers, and men are sadder and more lonely than ever. It's an epidemic. Here you can see, boys in crisis threaten Americans' future, with economic and health risks. They talk about how men and boys in America are essentially being left behind, finding themselves in almost every area of life. They're in a bad place because society has abandoned them. And yet we have to be lectured by liberals who say, you're just angry because you're a bigot, and never actually looking at the state of modern society. As the Joker says, what do you get when you treat an outcast like trash? Not anything good.
My parents, weren't really there. My mother was working all the time, and I didn't have too many friends. I've never been to a movie theater with friends. I've never been to parties.
Congratulations, you're an introvert, like millions of other young men. Now, I've been to movie theaters, I've been outside, but I really hate the picture they're trying to paint. They're clearly cherry picking, and this guy, who might not even be real, they're trying to use to paint this picture that if you go online, if you use 4chan, if you're a gamer, you obviously have no friends, you have no girlfriend, you're just a loser. It's the cartoon villain trope, okay? Basically, people have a really bad bias, and they tend to demonize people they don't understand or don't like. No, a lot of people who use 4chan are successful businessmen and tycoons. Believe it or not, rich people, successful people, social people also use 4chan.
Caleb Kane is a 26-year-old vocal critic. He posted a video on YouTube where he detailed how prominent content creators and YouTube's recommendation algorithm radicalized him over a 5-year period.
Yeah, Caleb he's a grifter. I don't believe his story for a second.
I was at a terrible point in my life, and I was actively looking for something or someone to fix that. And
if you really listen to this guy, basically he has no will of his own. He's very weak. He's very emasculine. He basically can't think for himself, and he basically just went to he swung far left. He never really was a conservative. I mean, his entire story's fake. I just gotta say it, it's fake.
If you've got illegal aliens roaming around the place, many of whom are lawful, peaceful, blah, 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 but, well, lawful outside, of course, being in the country legally, but...
Notice how he said absolutely nothing unreasonable and was actually balanced. The dude literally just said that, hey, people breaking the law to enter the country's wrong, and while some of them are lawful, a lot might not be. I'm pretty sure that's where he was going with this, and this is their example. This is literally their example of extremism. Molly Meme is just a guy who talks about philosophy. He's not a bad guy. Neither is Ben Shapiro, which is probably why they didn't include him, because Caleb says Ben Shapiro was one of the bad men. He's literally a Jewish man, a neoconservative, and he's pretty liberal on a lot of things, so this is all nonsense. I'm literally making hand gestures towards the screen as if you can see it, but you can't.
And it always seemed to like take me deeper. So I went from being a libertarian to being a conservative, which was strange because I was always like a liberal progressive growing up. You know, I watched Jon Stewart and Michael Moore documentaries.
This is what I hate about this guy. He cannot think for himself at all. A lot of these people that they're showing aren't bad people. It's all a false narrative. Oh, I'm done. I'm done with this guy. Okay, he's full of it. They're trying to push a narrative. Oh, YouTube's bad. No, it's not. It's not bad. YouTube's algorithm is very simple. It's, oh, you like cats? I'm going to give you more cats. That's how the YouTube algorithm works. If you look up cooking, it's going to give you more videos about cooking. Get out of here with this.
And he painted this picture to me that the left was destroying the world.
Now, he's claiming that the left isn't destroying the world, but they've certainly destroyed San Francisco. You see, San Francisco has a poop problem. It's full of poop. They actually had to hire a poop patrol. You can see here a poop patrol worker is washing away the poop from the streets. It's a public health crisis.
When you go online, you're getting your perspective fed back to you over and over and over again. And if you don't look outside of that bubble, then it's going to start to shape the way you see everything.
If you're a mindless sheep, maybe. He strikes me as the kind of guy who's an NPC. Just repeat whatever you're told. Think for yourself. I watch left-wing content sometimes. I watch right-wing content sometimes. I like libertarian content. But I think for myself, based on evidence, based on the truth. That's what normal people do.
We reached out to Stefan Molyneux, but never heard back, so we began reaching out to other prominent far-right YouTubers and set off a bit of a firestorm. The YouTubers began to tweet out our interview requests to their followers, and were then bombarded by a lot of their followers urging them not to talk to us.
Oh my God. I remember this. I saw it. CBS was trying to get an interview. I had no idea it was for this disgusting hit piece. And I wonder why people don't want to talk to you. Maybe because you're slandering them, committing libel, and breaking the law by hurting these people's reputations. Because none of them are actually far right. You're literally just naming conservatives and libertarians and calling them bigots. That is slander.
There's lots of people who are feeling that our societies are becoming increasingly hostile to white interest, to male interest.
When you talk about hostility towards white people, when you talk about hostility towards men and boys, the characterization is, oh, you're anti-woman, you're anti-race, you're racist, you're anti-Semitic.
Isn't that amazing, folks? If you even dare say, it's okay to be white, it's okay to be male, they accuse you of being anti-woman or anti-race or something. Doesn't that kind of prove to you that society has a bias against men? Against, dare I say it, against white people? Why is it that you're not allowed to question anything? I find it extremely troubling because I judge people not on the color of their skin, but on the content of their character. It's okay to be white. It's okay to be a man. It's okay to be a woman. It's okay to be Asian. It's okay to be human. What if you're pro-male and pro-female? You don't have to be one or the other. If I'm pro-female, that doesn't mean being anti-man, and being pro-man doesn't mean I'm anti-female. You're proving the point.
Do you worry that there are prominent voices online who peddle outrage because there's money to be made?
So there they go. That's what this is all about. It's about the media, the biggest group of hypocrites out there, saying, oh, these people they're just banking on that rage bait, and they're just making money. Look, as a YouTuber who talks about subjects that are important to me, there's no money in this, man. We're broke. We're absolutely broke. No, the big reason that the media is the biggest hypocrite of all time, the media, not only are they allowed to talk about whatever they want, like if something big happens, like a tragedy or an event, the media is allowed to talk about it on YouTube and on TV. But if you, an independent content creator, talk about the same subject, you will be struck, you will be censored, you will be demonetized, you will be removed. But the media, they talk about it and they talk about it and they make money on it, loads of money on it, all the time.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish the true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
The media is fake, and it's got an agenda. People should be allowed to talk about whatever they want without being censored or demonetized, and independent content creators should be allowed to have an opinion. That's what made America great. But they don't want us to speak, so they slander us with videos like this.
We've seen more and more instances in the last few years, I would say, of people openly expressing hatred towards others.
You know, I actually agree with her on this one. There's been a lot of attacks by left-wingers, but you know what? The media never talks about that now, do they? It's almost like they want to blame everything on the right wing while ignoring everything wrong with their side.
It's your fault. It's society's fault. It's you people out here in the society that are treating, that are putting us as outcasts, that are putting us to the side, throwing us under the bus, throwing us in the trash can, and that allows for this kind of thing to happen.
And he drops a major red pill. The reason that these things are happening aren't because of websites like 4chan. And that's what the media and these people don't understand. The problem isn't the internet. The problem isn't memes. The problem isn't video games. The problem is our broken society. The world's a mess.
I mean, I know you're a sophisticated guy. The world is a mess. The world is as angry as it gets.
People are more divided than ever. Everything is so tribal and divided and bipartisan. People are mean to each other. People lose their jobs because they have a different opinion than someone else. Maybe people are going crazy because the world has gone crazy. But these people think, well, the solution must be to silence and oppress gamers and other people online. We must silence and oppress 4chaners. And they try to do this. They get people shut down. They get people censored. And it doesn't work. Things keep happening. The world keeps getting crazier. And they try the same thing, censorship, over and over and over again.
Definition of insanity is insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change.
I'm not responsible. I didn't do anything wrong. What's wrong about having certain views or anything like that? I don't think that's wrong.
But aside from like the shock, the surprise, what was your emotional state?
I didn't give a
Yeah, okay. That's pretty much, yeah. That's probably the funniest thing in this entire interview. Probably the golden moment. There's this thing that I've noticed that a lot of liberals seem to think is a necessity, like people on the left. You must virtue signal if something bad happens, literally anywhere, unless it happens to like a straight white male. Yeah, why should I care? Like, you don't owe people empathy. And the funny thing is, a lot of these left-wingers, they don't actually have empathy. They just virtue signal online. They pretend to care in public, but in private, they don't really give a shit either.
What do you want me to sit here and say, oh my gosh, that I feel so bad and all this is happening every day in this country, all over the world. People are dying every day from gun violence in the inner cities. I mean, I'm puzzled by the fact that you are sitting here almost waiting for me to say my condolences to the family. I'm gonna just tell you what I think. I don't give a
And he drops a lot of red pills here. People are dying all over the world every single day. People in inner cities are being shot. It's an epidemic in this country. But I never see anyone talking about it. I never see the media talking about it. Could it be that these left-wingers don't really care? And I don't want to sound edgy, but that's what I noticed in general. If it's not in front of them, if they don't see it on the TV, on the box, they just don't care. They don't care about the homeless people on the street. They don't care that people in Africa are starving. They don't care about the atrocities that happen all over the world, even though it's happening all the time. They only care when the media says so and when it's shoved in their face. Is that really empathy? Or maybe, just maybe, people are self-centered and pretty much just stuck in their own little worlds.
So isn't there another way to look at all of this? The brazenness of some of these individuals to talk the way they speak, it's now in the public discourse.
I'll never cease to be amazed by these media elites in their ivory towers acting like they are gods, and they get to decide what people are allowed to believe, allowed to say, allowed to do. You heard them. I can't believe people are talking however they want now in the public. How are we gonna stop them? We're the leaders. We're the moral arbiters. We control the narrative. They want to control you because to them, you're just a slave. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm an American. I have my freedoms. I am not anyone's slave. There was once strings on me, but no longer. For now, I am free.
That's absolutely my take on this issue. You know, every person who puts this information into the public domain, they're essentially leaving us a digital footprint. They're telling us exactly the path they're taking. In many cases, they're even showing us their kind of radicalization over the year. They're giving us a huge amount of information to help understand them, but not just to understand them, also to intervene.
I hate the arrogance, the absolute and utter arrogance of these people. That arrogant smile, that arrogant smug look. And you have to wonder, why are people turning away from liberals? Why are people sick of them? Could it be that smug, condescending, I know everything attitude? You know nothing.
Who said they were gamers? Gamer? Do we see biased attitudes in gaming?
When you get angry, they start like cursing people out and using like derogatory terms.
Welcome to gaming. Oh my god, again with the gamers. Oh, the gamer said mean things. Oh my god. Oh my god. I might actually be going insane.
If it's been exposed to you frequently, you kind of get used to it and you kind of become something where like it's normal at that point and no longer seen as something offensive.
Yeah, that's called not being a snowflake anymore. Not being sensitive, not being a pansy. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words cannot hurt you. Does their class have a single white male?
But I can't live this life forever. I'm gonna eventually have to leave the basement, and when I do, I'm gonna have to do it right. There is an entire generation of people just like me who are going to be going out there into the world someday. Will be leaving the basement, will be doing something with their lives. You could have someone who is your boss, or is your teacher, or is your lawyer, or your doctor, that may have views like mine, and that will have big ramifications on society.
And this is what they fear the most, my friends. They fear a world where left-wingers are no longer in control, where left-wingers no longer control the narrative, where the media isn't majority left-wing, when all the late-night comedy shows aren't all anti-conservative. They fear a change in the tides, where they no longer control the politicians, the government, and they want to stop it. But it probably cannot be stopped. The wheels of history continue to turn, and people with different viewpoints that aren't just left-wing, they exist, and they're not going to go away. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? What do you think about this entire video? This is a huge breakdown. It's probably going to take a while to put together, a lot of effort, but I really feel like it's important that we call out this nonsense from the mainstream media that's pretty much just propaganda and anti-right-winger. Like, this entire video was anti-conservative, it was anti-libertarian, it was anti-free speech, and it was really smug and condescending, but I mean, nobody likes the video. It's massively disliked. It only has 30,000 views. It's basically a big, bad joke. Let me know what you think. Do they have good points? Do they have bad points? Let me know. If you're a left-winger, if you're a right-winger, I promote freedom of speech. So if you have an opinion, go ahead and share it. Try to be civil. That's all I have to say. Now, if you like the content that I produce, and trust me when I say, it does take time, effort, and energy to do. If you want to help support this content, you can join me on Patreon or Subscribestar. You will get access to a private Discord server. It's a guaranteed bonus as long as you join either of those platforms. If you want to donate, you can do so on DonorBox. You can donate via Bitcoin. Check the description for more information and all the links. And most of all, if you enjoy this content, why not share the video if you think it's worth sharing, if you think it's interesting, if you think it might open someone else's eyes. go ahead and share the content, post it on social media, show your friends. It really helps the channel, and I appreciate it when people share the content. As always, thanks for watching, because I'm losing my voice here, and I'll see you all next time.